I had a conversation with one of my colleagues today, and I was telling them, I said, you know what? I feel like Hollywood is just doing too much of these slave movies. Like, there's way more to our history as Black people than just, a certain somebody who just decides to overcome oppression. And she agreed with me, but then she also told me, she feels she's older than I am, so she says she feels like the younger generation needs to know about these people because if you look at the history books, a lot of the things are missing, a lot, and in 20, 30 years, all they're probably gonna know is Gucci Mane and Barack Obama. Pretty much. So she says she feels like these movies are needed, even though she did agree with me. So, with that being said, I'm just going to get into the review of this movie right now. What's good, everybody? It's Abwon, and this is Before You Watch, spoiler-free TV and movie reviews. And this week, we have a movie that I've been anticipating for almost 2 years now, Birth of a Nation, or The Birth of a Nation. I'm not even completely sure. Not to be confused with the the movie about the rise of the Klan, ironically enough, years ago. But it's crazy how both of these movies are really just about race. This has more of a storyline, obviously. I think that one's a documentary. But anyway, this movie, if you don't know who the guy is, Nat Turner, you can Google him. I've known about him for quite some time, and I feel like movies about abolitionists like him need to be done, even though I feel like slave movies are just oversaturating the market right now, and it's really not even necessary all the time. You know what I mean? A lot of the times when people think about abolitionists, they think about Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, the notable ones, but it's like people like Nat Turner are still very much important. But anyway, I'm going to take my activist hat off, and I'm going to attempt to give you a review. I'm trying to be as concise as possible. Oh, I also have the afterthought section with a film producer. So anyway, the first thing that stuck out to me about this movie was there's no background music. No score. Well, not entirely. There is background music only in certain scenes, but I like the fact that there wasn't a lot of background music because it just added to the intensity. And there's a lot of intensity in this movie. The emotions are running high in this movie. You're going to see a lot of things that are going to make you cringe in the beginning, the middle, and the end. And the scenes that do have the movie just adds to it. Nate Parker, I remember years ago I went to go see a private screening of Red Tails, and him and I had an extended conversation, and I didn't really know how great of an actor he was, honestly. I didn't think that he could actually dig that deep. And when I watched this movie, simple scenes like him preaching a sermon or reciting a Bible verse, he just put so much emotion to it, so much feeling to it, into it. And you could just, oh man, he had this one scene where he really just preached to this group. And I had to break out and applaud because I said, I felt that in my soul. And I haven't been to church in like 3 years. But yeah, the emotions definitely are running high. There's a lot of up and coming actors and actresses in this film too. If you watch Fear the Walking Dead, the gentleman that owns the yacht, he's in this movie. If you watch How to Get Away with Murder, there's a woman from that show in this movie as well. I don't watch that show. Somebody told me about it. Gabrielle Union's in this movie too. I didn't even know that. And the guy from Rorschach and Watchmen is in this movie. So there's a lot of notable actors and actresses in here. The movie's only 2 hours. It doesn't feel like 2 hours. The pacing is really good. It goes through him, as a child, seeing things to basically his last day, pretty much. Everything. Even a 48-hour rebellion. Now, my major issue with this film is I felt like the 48-hour rebellion, or just a rebellion in general, was just really, really, really short-lived. We saw so many scenes of all these horrendous acts that they were doing to these slaves and these women and things like that. And the rebellion, I'm like, okay, cool, this should be the release. You know what I mean? Let's see something. Let's see a decent scene. I mean, not saying it was bad, but I just felt like it could have been maybe 5-6 minutes longer. But even then, it was still a pretty liberating scene. Another issue I had with the film as well was I just felt like the cinematography could have been better. Sometimes you just felt like they had a camera phone or just one camera. Like when they'll pan to one person when they could have just shot 3 people in the scene at one time. But it really wasn't. It really wasn't too much. But the movie is gorgeous when it's filmed in the daytime. It looks really, really good, and you just feel the pain out there. The movie is gripping, man. That's really all I can say. Like, you really walk out of this film and you feel some type of way. But I also feel like movies like this, that should be the intention. You shouldn't walk out of here and be like, oh, damn, like, they got a sequel? So they did their job. It sucks that he has a little controversy surrounding this film that may draw back from an Oscar nod. So, but the truth will set you free. I still enjoyed this movie though. I'm gonna give it a solid 8. Definitely a solid 8. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray. I definitely want to see some extra footage or whatever they have. The extras they have with like the DVDs or whatever. Because I really don't pay attention to them. But in this one, I'm going to pay attention to them. So I definitely enjoyed it. You don't actually have to be a black person to enjoy this movie. And even though I'm laughing, it's true. I watched the film with my friends. One of them was a Dominican woman. Her wife, yes, her wife is a Jewish woman, and they both enjoyed it as well. They had the same gripes that I had against it, and they also felt like the same things they liked as well. I would have had them for the afterthought segment, but I have another guest, so definitely check it out. But it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Go into that movie expecting to walk out feeling really awkward about the country that you live in, pretty much. That's really all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, I have the afterthought segment with Parris Moore. He's a producer of a movie, Kinyawanda. You can Google that as well. Anyway, I'm just going to get into it. You can check it out. It's won awards and things like that. So, yeah, stay tuned. It's coming up right now. What's good, everybody? It's Abwon, and this is the afterthought section of Birth of a Nation. And I told you guys I was going to have a special guest today, and I do. And it's my man, Parris Moore, the acclaimed producer. I'm just going to let him do his thing. Go ahead. Do your thing, man.
First of all, thank you, man, for giving me this time and opportunity to talk to you about Birth of a Nation and myself in the movie I did as well. But I'm sure you already seen the movie, and you can see the similarities between my movie and Birth of a Nation.
Okay. For the people that are listening right now, in case you're not familiar with your film has actually did its thing in Hollywood. It's not just something that a run-of-the-mill film that somebody, I put a film together and it's just chilling in their little like Vegas box or ottoman or something like that. No. His movie, Kinyawanda, and I'm gonna put the link for the YouTube video in the description of this video. You can watch it on YouTube, but it's actually won a Sundance Film Festival award.
Yes, it did.
And it also won 3 other awards, so 4 in total, 7 nominations. This man is no slouch, man. So
what really touched people with the movie Kinyawanda was the aspect of forgiveness.
Okay.
And how your brother can hurt you so bad, can literally kill your family. But in order for your nation, your family, your society to heal, you have to forgive that person and move on. Because when you truly understand the madness that happened to drive him to hurt you, the madness that drives you to want revenge and hurt him, came from someplace else. Came from a common enemy who set you up that way. And once you can step back and say, this is not who we really are. And in order for us to grow again and become a strong nation, we have to let go of that curse, let go of that mindset, let go of that trickery, become brothers and sisters again forgive our past because we were fooled, we were lied to, we were tricked, and move on as family again.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like using forgiveness also as a political technique, a political plan of action all over the world.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because in Birth of a Nation, I don't want to give too many spoilers away. This is spoiler free. Everything that you're basically talking about right now, as far as the trickery, we saw that in the film. The forgiveness, we saw that in the film early on, and even coming together, solidarity, all of that stuff, we saw that. And I guess it was, they came together. We all know what happens. If you're not familiar with who he is,
Well, you can look it up.
yeah, exactly. You could Google it. It's based on a true story, guys.
Yeah. So we can talk about the true story. Nat
Yeah,
Turner kicked butt. He
So,
rose up against
he was.
his slavery, against his imprisonment, and he's not the only one. See, the history that we're not taught is that there were a lot of slave revolutions going on,
exactly.
revolts all throughout the Americas. We weren't complicit. We weren't happy. We weren't letting it happen to us. They had to beat them down, fight them all the time to maintain that, because a man and a woman is going to stand up for their children, for themselves.
Exactly. But you know what? This is America. They're not going to be letting us put out movies like this all the damn time.
Well, that's why it was produced by a brother.
Yeah. Okay, so 1 through 10, what would you give it?
I would give it and only because of the music,
Okay.
a strong 8.
I think I would give it a strong 8 too.
Because that music, the scenes.
The fact that there really wasn't even that much music, I liked, but the music that they did have.
Right, because whenever he was angry and wanted revenge, it was African music.
Yeah.
Whenever he was rising up,
it was
intense,
soulful.
and
it was intense,
it was like.
man. Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, I'm rising up. Boom, boom, I want to hear some drums. I don't hear no angelic European classic music.
So, I know.
God is only white. God is only classic. God comes from Europe.
It's funny
but when
you
you're
say that,
angry, you mad, you want to beat somebody. Now we got the drums. Boom, 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 boom.
That's what they were teaching him in the beginning of the film too. When she was like, "You can't read these books. You can only read these," and it was the Bible, and that's what she was teaching him too.
Well, see, and now that's a spoiler.
I mean, okay. I guess you could say that too. All right, it is a spoiler.
But that's okay.
You're right.
But that's just the beginning of leading into understanding and how religion plays a very important part of this entire story.
It sure
but
does.
not only religion, but training, education, and they showed how from the very beginning, the first scene was a religious scene.
Yeah.
The first scene was a ceremony. See, let's not forget that there was another religion that superseded the American religion. And that religion basically set the tone and stage of this man's life path, without giving any spoilers. And then he was introduced another religion, and that was also part of his path. And the one good thing I'd say about this, a tool that was used against him turned around to be a tool that he used for his own enlightenment in rising up.
In terms of Hollywood and these slave movies, though, how do you feel this movie, I guess, fits into that? Because, I mean, honestly, it's kind of...
Well, I'm going to say Hollywood picks on timing to make
They
money.
do.
And I think how this movie is Hollywood is when it came out at the time that it has. I think that's very Hollywood.
But I also feel like right now, and what's going on in America right now, I feel like this movie, like, the timing was probably, like, it's like
it
super
could either be a
impeccable.
powder keg or it could be a topic for discussion.
Yeah.
Now, what I have seen lately is that there are a lot of Europeans or white Americans who are talking about what's wrong with this country and bearing their soul to the world. There's a head of AT&T who basically said, look, I'm so sorry, man, there's something terrible going on.
Yeah,
And that's the slavery thing.
Yeah.
And that's after he saw this movie. He came and said, hey, or heard about it.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's just tweeted something yesterday, like they can't stand up, they can't sit down and stay silent during all this injustice anymore. So they put a hashtag with the Black Lives Matter.
And this
and all
movie could help people look at the basis of what is happening to understand what's happening today. You can't forget your history.
You really
and
can't.
This
You
is
really
a great history lesson in some of the darkness of this country. Nat Turner might be the new Luke Cage.
Luke Cage is the new Luke Cage.
Right, but I'm saying, you see
But-
that hero, he walked strong against evil, against bad oppression, even though it was in his hood, in his neighborhood. Look at Nat Turner. We could see, that's up to us to tell the stories, to say he's a hero. And he ain't got no superpowers.
You're right.
Excuse me,
You're right.
he ain't got. But I'm just saying, in the hood, he ain't got no, that's right, I said that, superpowers, 'cause I'm talking to the kids around the way. but yet he stood anyway.
Gotcha.
And against all odds, he stood up. That's a hero.
True. So I don't want to have this running on for about 25 minutes. So, just to sum up the movie, one last time, if there was one thing that you could have changed about the movie, what do you think it would?
I already
what would
said
it be?
man.
The music.
Oh, and I'd like to see more of the African religious aspects throughout the film. I'd like to see a little more of that. I was hoping to see the grandmother do a little bit more of her cultural.
I mean,
and that
for what it was, for 2 hours, I think they did a really good job for a 2-hour movie.
I agree. I think it's a
job.
worthy movie. I
Yeah.
think it should be seen.
They could have really made that into 3 hours too.
But a black man produced it, though. That's the thing.
True.
So that's why I feel a little more like this. He tried to be true to his vision, what he understood as a black man. So that's cool.
I think the guy that wrote the movie, they dormed together in college. I think something like that. They both went to college together.
Man,
supposedly.
he got a guy who's the actor, the writer, director, and producer.
Yeah, nah, you're right. You're
Now,
right.
most times
you're
I
right.
don't like that.
You think they're doing too much?
No, I think that sometimes one person does so much, they lose vision.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't wear too many hats, and it's
exactly.
a film, it's a collaborative effort.
Uh-huh.
But this case, it turned out really good.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely did turn out really well. I definitely did. And, I was really anticipating this movie. I thought it was, it definitely lived up to my expectations. So let's just see what happens what is it, Friday?
Yes, it is.
By Monday, let's see what happens.
Well, let's look at the news, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Anytime you want to invite me back on your show, man,
I got you. Oh, let them know anything you got going on, anything like that. Let them know right now,
Well, look, in
bro.
the future, I just wrote my first novel.
Okay.
I'm developing a philosophy called transculturalism, which is basically telling stories and melding different cultures together so that we have a better understanding of how other people live. You know, when I'm ready to come out with all that, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But I want to make that into an animation.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing right now.
I could give you the plug for some animators.
Do that, brother.
Some black animators.
Oh,
so yeah.
don't hold back.
Let me know.
No, let me know now.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So
put
you know what?
pause,
Yeah.
then
Word.
You tell me that.
It's Abwon, my man Parris Moore. That's Parris with 2 R's. Check him out. Watch Kinyawanda, KINYARWANDA. I will put the link in the bio, and we are out of here. Peace.